It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask them, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school. Been recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationship with the University of Miami.
Patton, another good block, and Toretto lays it out.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSport.com, Lamar Thomas.
What is going on, Mr. Thomas?
Hey, Gary. Hey, 2-0, baby. 2-0.
2-0. Well, it's nice to be 2-0 when we get here on a Wednesday night. Welcoming everybody to another edition of the Lamar Thomas Show. Lamar, as you can see, is live from Caneswear, and the Lamar Thomas Show is presented by Caneswear. As you can see now on the bottom of your screen there, it's the ultimate headquarters for all your game day needs. You can see all the merchandise behind Lamar, and they pretty much have everything that a Canes fan could possibly want. They're at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. So if you're on your way to Hard Rock for the big 4:30 game against South Florida this weekend, you can stop at Caneswear on the way. And since they're feeding Lamar dinner tonight, I'll mention that La Spada Sub Shop is right next door to Caneswear, so you can pick up some tailgate food as well as some Cane merchandise. And they got some pretty good looking stuff there behind you tonight, Lamar.
Yeah, Gary, this, as you said, there's so much stuff in here, man. It's packed in here like sardines. And, they got a big thing this weekend. I think they got some guys coming in here. Who's coming in here, Ken? Willis McGahee and Brian McKinney coming in on Saturday. Tomorrow. Oh, man, they won't be in the store. Look at this shirt right here. I like this shirt right here. Look at this shirt. Dale Dawkins was wearing this the other day.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. And this one right here now, Gary.
What's this one? This is not South Florida, huh?
We got to let them know this is not South Florida.
I like that shirt.
So you got to come buy this now. You got to come buy it now.
Somebody's trying to make this thing a big game, Lamar. They're trying to make it a rivalry, this Miami-South Florida deal on Saturday. And it helps that they put the smackdown on the Florida Gators in Gainesville on Saturday. How big of a surprise was that to you?
Well, it was a surprise. I got to tell you, it was a big surprise that they were able to win the game. But I also said that I told people in Gainesville, which I call Canesville, I told them that if you let this team stay close to you, they're going to get confidence. They stayed close to us last year, and they got confidence. But the difference was we came out in the second half, and and we had that score right before halftime. And then we came out in the second half and we put that thing on them, and they just kind of gave up. But it was an interesting game watching that game because again, I'm looking at my phone during the game and I see 15-16 or whatever, and I say, oh, I guess Florida won. 22 seconds. I didn't know they were setting up for a field goal. Then all of a sudden I hear the commotion and like, is there a fight in the stands? What's going on? And someone said Florida lost. And so all I could think of was, man, okay, our fans need to come out to this game. They need to understand this ain't the old USF right here. They're 2-0. They beat 2 top 20 teams. They're feeling good. USF fans are going to come down. But our fans need to understand, because I went talking to my dad. My dad was like, oh, well, you have the same atmosphere that you had during the Notre Dame game. You should be fine. Well, if our fans don't come out like that, we're not going to have that same atmosphere. So what I'm doing, I'm challenging the fans. Come on out. This is a big game. I mean, we're not taking them lightly. I mean, I'm Mario, and I say we, Mario, that coaching staff, that team, they know what USF, they watch film on them. They're a good team. And this ain't the old USF. This is a team that right now is ranked in the top 20. And this is a top 20 game. I mean, hell, the damn networks ain't even taking the game serious. They're putting it on CW. Now people in Gainesville can get a main channel. I mean, hell, they can't get ABC. They're gonna get, it's a lot of disrespect going on in this game. But we have to understand as fans, we got to come out and support our Canes and make this a ruckus environment similar to what we saw against Notre Dame.
So they had some help over there the other day. Lamar, I can't remember the name of the Florida player, but he spit in the face of a South Florida player. The game is on the line late in the fourth quarter. He took a 15-yard penalty that, for the most part, sealed Florida's fate in that game. I wanted to ask you a little bit about that before we get into the Miami Bethune, because, you've obviously been a player, you've been a coach. That just reeks of lack of discipline. And I personally think that reflects back to the culture in the program and the head coach, but also this whole thing of mimicking what, these young players mimicking what they saw up in the NFL with somebody, doing the same thing. And what were your thoughts on that from all different directions?
Well, first of all, I mean, you spit on me, I'm following your ass back to the locker room. We fighting. I'm getting my own damn penalty. I mean, that is the ultimate disrespect. I'd rather you slap me than spit on me. And for this kid to do it, especially after we're just seeing it in an NFL game where guys got fined a lot of money and suspended. It does talk about your program and what's being taught, because I would think that every program around the country, these coaches came in and said, hey, that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. I don't care how mad you get with somebody. That is truly unacceptable. And for a kid to do that in the heat of the battle, I mean, I don't know if maybe they didn't harp on it enough, because that is, I mean, that's very distasteful and it's disgusting.
It really is. It reminded me of a little bit of what Jacoby George did in the Syracuse game last year when he took that penalty with Miami on the doorstep of scoring that critical touchdown late in the game that shaped the whole season. It's so selfish. And, I don't know how, as a coach, you could accept a player doing that and having such a, adverse impact on the final score of the game, on the outcome of the game, and what that means to your season. And that was kind of rough, I thought.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard for them to overcome a game that they probably, in hindsight, if some things happen their way, probably should have won, but they end up losing it. And then they have to go on the road and play an LSU team that is going to be tough to play at night, and then to come down here and play us at night. That was the game. That was the one game they should have probably penciled in and said, hey, we got to really do some good things in this game, and then to go out and lose that game, it's a pretty much uphill battle now for the University of Florida.
The head coach is, whether it's in the middle of the year, end of the year, whatever, the head coach is probably going to lose his job after this season unless something crazy happens. And that kid will have directly contributed to that in a major way. And I don't know, man. I mean,
but Gary, to be honest with you, was he walking away with 20 million, 30 million? I mean, sometimes to lose a job in that case, it's not that big of a deal. It's
not that big a deal.
It's not that bad of a deal, Gary. I might have paid a kid to spit on somebody if I know I'm gonna get 30 million.
Right. And not have to work anymore. Yeah. Yeah, I see Ed Orgeron bouncing around here in South Florida, coming out to Miami practices and stuff. He doesn't look too upset. They gave him, I think, $18 million to leave LSU.
Yes.
All right. Well, while all this drama was going on up in Canesville, the Canes themselves were at Hard Rock, very workmanlike fashion, taking care of Bethune-Cookman, and obviously Bethune-Cookman couldn't begin to compete with Miami. But I was kind of shocked, Lamar. I mean, the starters were still in the game in the middle of the third quarter, and the coaches are doing a great job. I mean, I'll say it over and over again. The only thing, to me, is that's a wasted opportunity to play the bottom half of the roster and just give them a shot, and see what they've got. I mean, I get it. There's style points involved. You're competing for seeding in the college football playoff and those kind of things. But man, I mean, I'm watching Bain and Mesidor and Beck and Fletcher and all these guys that are so pivotal to this season out there against Bethune-Cookman in the middle of the third quarter. I mean, me personally, I wouldn't have played any of them in the game. So I was like, what the heck is going on here, Mario? And you've been in the hot seat there. You've been a coach, and you got to make a decision when you're playing one of these mail-in pay games that you're going to win by 40, 50 points no matter what you do. And you got to make a decision on playing your best players, and they obviously chose to do so. Your thoughts just on the whole subject?
I mean, for me personally, that was a tough one to see because, as a coach, I'm trying to save my best players for when it really counts the most. And also trying to see if I can get some experience, some guys in there to get some experience. And, I would have thought that Carson Beck wouldn't have been in there in the third quarter. I would have thought we'd have saw more Emory, maybe 3/4 of Emory. That's what I want to see. I want to see some young guys I had not seen against Bethune-Cookman to play some meaningful minutes. I think they played maybe a quarter and a half, but I want to see them play more than that. But remember last year, I think it was last year, when Cam Ward was in there and he dove for a touchdown against Bethune. And I remember holding my breath because I was like, no, Cam, don't die. We need you. And so you get a guy in there like Carson Beck, and he's playing 3/4. Obviously, they felt real comfortable with the O-line. And he didn't get really touched that much. So they felt comfortable enough to keep him in there. But I guess that's why Mario's getting paid the big bucks to make those type of decisions. And obviously it worked out for us that, it worked out. That's all I'm gonna say. It worked out, and let's move on.
So it's obviously a risk. Okay, let's not sugarcoat. It's a risk.
Right.
Was there a reward, Lamar? Did you, walking away from that game, heading home from the stadium, did you feel that Miami got something out of that game last week?
I think they got a little bit. I don't know about a lot, but I think they got a little bit. So obviously, we came out healthy, we got the win, and now it's time to move on.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about a few guys. I want to talk about Carson Beck a little bit because, obviously he looked great against Bethune. I mean, he looked great against Notre Dame. He's going to probably look great against Bethune. But this guy has just come into the season so professional, LT, and he's in the Heisman conversation already. I've seen him as high as number 2 in some of those Heisman polls that are starting to come out already. And he's on the radar now when maybe in the offseason he had unfairly gotten a little off the radar. And you have a unique perspective. I mean, you played with a quarterback that won the Heisman Trophy and Gino Torretta. And does Carson Beck, to you, have the look of a guy that belongs? Something's going on there.
Right now, Gary, I think he does. Right
Yeah.
now, I think he does. I mean, he's shown that he's a game manager, right? We'll see in this USF game, we'll see in the Florida game. I think each game his stock will continue to increase, right? Also, he didn't practice in the spring, right? He didn't practice in the spring. He rarely practiced, so he's getting his groove with those receivers, and I think he will continue to get better. I think this guy I think for him, he has something to prove to everybody, maybe the Georgia people that wrote him off. So it's a good thing that he's on this tour, this revenge tour, this petty tour, as you might say. He looks good. He looks like a true game manager, and he's made all the right throws so far. I mean, we got a little lucky with the one touchdown, great catch, but he's made all the right throws so far.
He seems to like the ball's always in the right spot for. You okay with your audio? There's something crazy going on there. I'll give you a second to adjust that, but yeah, so the ball always seems to get to the receivers in the right place. As a receiver yourself, how important is that?
Well, you just want a guy to be able to give you an opportunity, right? You just want to be able to have an opportunity for the quarterback to give you a chance to make a play. The trust, your catch radius must be high. I've always said I've never seen a football completed out of bounds. So give me a chance. Keep it in bounds. Let me go up and make a play for you, and everything should work out. And that's all the whole trust issue between quarterback and receiver, and a lot of that is on Greentree. You gotta be able to see it in practice. Bobby Petrino would say, if I don't see it work in practice, I'm not calling it in the game. There's no way I'm going to call it in the game. And that's important because that's confidence. That's confidence between the quarterback, the receiver, the O-line, everybody, to know that this play is going to work because we're able to complete it in practice.
Benzo Kane says that Carson Beck looks like he's having fun out there playing football for the Canes. That's why he believes that Miami has a chance to go all the way. He does look like he's having fun. I mean, I totally agree with you, Benzo. And that's important for a guy that ended last year with some adversity in the injury and enough disappointment that he left the University of Georgia and went into the transfer portal and ended up in Miami. And had everything been hunky-dory at Georgia, that probably doesn't happen, right, Lamar? So it's significant that he looks happy and that those are the vibes that we're getting.
Being on the sideline and being around those guys, man, you're right. He looks like he's into it. I was a little worried about, a guy coming from that program coming here, how he was going to mesh or gel with the guys after Cam Ward had been there. And I mean, he's on the sideline. Those guys are standing around him. He's chopping it up with them, and he's into the game. That's not the Carson Beck that I saw at the latter part at Georgia, that last year at Georgia. It didn't look the same. It looks like a re-energized Carson Beck that has a lot to prove to the naysayers, and I like it so far.
Matthew Morgan's telling me to relax.
I saw that.
He's commenting on what we were talking about a moment ago about the starters being in a game till the middle of the third. Okay, you're right. They only did have 4 series in the first half. The clock was moving like crazy in that game. But, I would just say, first of all, I'm totally chill, okay? I am not uptight at all about anything right now. I'm happy with the way the team has showed up for the season. I think they're going to slap South Florida all over the place on Saturday. I like the trajectory that things are going. I think the game in Tallahassee is going to be tougher than some people think it's going to be, but I'm expecting a tough one there. But I'm like totally chill, LT. It's like, do I seem uptight to you? Do I need to relax? I mean, I'm as relaxed as could be, man.
No, you good, Gary. I mean, I'm just more concerned with can people hear me or not? That's I'm seeing some of the comments where they're saying I sounded muffled. So I think that's the biggest concern that I have right now. You don't seem like you're rattled, Gary.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Your audio is okay. You're a little low, but it's not muffled. It's fine. There was a little bit of interference there for a moment, but you're okay now. All right, so Carson back to him. So Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator at Georgia, is hitting up his texts. You know, he's texting them after the Notre Dame game, and they're chatting it up and all that. Your thoughts on that? Coaches from other teams talking to players on other teams, and is that kind of cool?
Well, to be honest with you, see, that's a tough one because when you recruit a guy, or you're in the recruiting process, or you spend a lot of time with a guy, you become very close with these kids, and your job is to mentor and to help them develop as a man. So if you're really into that and that's your thing, I mean, when I was at Kentucky, I still talked to Lamar Jackson, and you sit in a guy's home and you're trying to convince them, and their parents, your parents or your mom or your dad, they believe in what you're saying and how you're going to make them a better man. You still talk to them. There's a lot of kids like that were at Kentucky, Louisville, Hampton University, Western Kentucky, and I continue to talk to them even though they weren't on my team. It's just that, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, he's not asking them to come back. He's just,
he's out of eligibility.
Yeah, he's out of eligibility. So it's not a big deal. Hey, they're grown men. Hell, they can go out and have a beer together or some vodka, whatever they want to do. But, it is what it is. I like that because that's showing that Bobo, he's not on his team anymore, but he still cares about him enough to reach out and talk ball and tell him what he might have saw or what, and hell, Carson might be telling him what he might have saw. So it's a friendship there.
Well, Carson told him, "I'm going to break your damn records." They were kidding about number of consecutive passes completed, and then Carson went out and broke the Miami record in the Bethune game, and I think it was 15 consecutive passes. So that was all pretty good. Jennifer Miller has an interesting comment. I kind of alluded to this earlier, but Miami's playing for significant things this season. I mean, Miami's not messing around. It may or may not happen. They're thinking ACC championship game. They're thinking college football playoff. Okay, that there's nothing less than that that's acceptable at Miami this year. So style points, even if it's against Bethune-Cookman, do you think that matters, LT? Do you think that's why the players would play a little bit longer in that game and sacrifice the playing time for the younger players to just make sure that it looks like it should look, 45-3 in, when somebody's just looking at the record? Let's face it, there's not one guy on that college football playoff committee that will have watched Miami Bethune-Cookman.
You're correct, Gary. You're correct. I think, it's all about the end of the season. That's what it's about. I don't know about style points right now, but Bethune-Cookman, they do nothing for that. I mean, you don't play well now, it does something for it. But you go out and take care of business, whether it's 10 points, 20 points, 17 points. I say, well, more than 10 points. I say 20 on in. It should take care of itself. But like you said, I don't think anybody from that committee is going to watch that Bethune-Cookman game. They're going to look at the other games, and fortunately, we made it through with no injuries, and they rolled the dice, and they got those guys more playing time, more reps, like one of the viewers said, and it worked out well. But I would have loved to have seen Emory 3 3/4. I just think we need to see him. I think he needs to be out there. I get what maybe they were trying to do was, get Carson in the right rhythm right now, but Emory, you gotta have a good solid backup quarterback, and I do think he is that guy. It's a lot better than having Poppy's Burgers back there. I was a little worried about Poppy Burger or whatever his name was.
I actually wrote about Emory this week on CaneSport.com, and I totally agree with you. He had such a bad bowl game that it was important for him. You can work and he worked as hard as you can possibly work the entire offseason to get his game back and get his head straight and all that. You still got to go out and do it on the football field to really exercise all those demons, so to speak, and just get that bitter taste from that bowl game out of your head. And so it was important that he got out there and was able to do that, even though it was only 1.5. With you, I would have made it 2.5, but at least he did get back on the field and got to do some productive things. Now, Ian Killen's making a good point here, so I'm going to throw this up. Got to get JoJo Trader, Jordan Lyle, and Elijah Lofton going. The whole offense so far has been Beck, Fletcher, for the most part, a little bit of Marty Brown, and CJ Daniels and Malachi Toney. You've got 3 playmakers here that Ian Killen's pointing out going into game 3 who have done very little to this point in the season. How important is it as these games start getting progressively more difficult now, Lamar, with South Florida and then Florida and FSU, to get the entire offense humming here on Saturday?
I think it's very important, Gary. I do believe that they have some other playmakers that will show their face. Right now, the O-line is playing good, really good. I think they're going to have a great opportunity to manhandle the USF D-line. And I think that will open up, Lyle is coming back. We'll see Jordan Lyle out there. As far as receivers, getting guys back that have been injured, seeing what some of the younger guys, out there. I mean, I talked to number 7 on the sideline. That's what I call number 7. Hey, man, he was a joy to talk to. He is excited about being a Hurricane, and he's a nice kid, man. It was surreal to talk to him because I was standing there behind him, and I'm not Michael Irvin, so why are you gonna talk to me? So, but somebody introduced us, and we were just hamming it up for a little bit, and to be able to use all our weapons, I think more weapons will come out of this game because here it is. South Florida is not a bad team. They're not a great team. They're a good team. That they were able to beat Boise State, and they were able to beat University of Florida. So we have to be able to. I think that they're going to try to take away, unlike Lagway. When they played Lagway, they took away the deep balls. They wanted Lagway to throw it around the yard a little bit, see if he could complete passes and see if he could eventually mess up. And because they didn't even pressure him. I think they pressured him 3 times. So he was able to stand back there. You let Beck stand back there, he's gonna kill you. He can throw it around the yard a little bit. Now, why Todd Orlando? Hey, maybe you should pack the box because you got big number 4 Fletcher coming downhill, and you're gonna put a safety in that box, he's gonna get a headache. He might want to wear 2 helmets, 2 of them double helmets, because Fletcher coming downhill at you. Okay? Now, on outside, you go you want to see what we got. We want to see what we got. 1-on-1 outside. Let's see if, we got some guys. We gotta see if they can make some plays. That might be the game plan, but if they go out there with the same game plan they had against the University of Florida, Beck is gonna kill him. He's gonna sit back there and untouched with that O-line we have.
He is one of the best, if not the best, quarterbacks in the country when he is not pressured.
Yes.
The stats in his career prove that. He's only gotten into trouble last year when the O-line wasn't as good and they put pressure on him. If he's got protection, he's a pretty damn good quarterback. So, I mean, they're not great at pressuring the quarterback at South Florida. It's one of the variables of this game for everybody to think about.
Wait. Let's give a shout out. We got to give a shout out to our guys at USF. DVD. He's a online. I watched it about 30 times. DVD and those guys coming down at the press box, celebrating at UL. DVD, that shit ain't happening not in our place. You ain't gonna be able,
cornerbacks coach.
Yeah, you might not make it down there talking about celebrating. You might get choked out, boy. Like, hey, I love you, DVD, but not in our house. And then you got the D-line coach, Kevin Patrick.
Yeah.
D-line coach. I think they're going to be a little undersized. I think our O-line should be able to do some great things against them in the run game. They're going to have to stack the box because their D-line, you got defensive ends, 250, 260, whatever. You got 300-pounder. We got a bunch of big guys. And I think our O-line is playing very well right now, and they'll be able to slip off and get to the linebackers. They're going to have to add people in the box. And that's where the one-on-one throws, we're going to have to see if our guys could beat one-on-one coverage. That's what I believe Todd Orlando, that's their defensive coordinator, is going to try to do.
So Panhandle Cane's looking at your T-shirt that says Green Tree Made, and he's saying, LT, Green Tree might have made you, but the Rathskeller made me. And for those that don't know, the Rathskeller is the campus bar at the Student Union. It used to be a standalone building. Now it's part of the Student Union. But LT, I imagine you made your way at some point to the Rathskeller.
Yeah, I had a couple Miller Lights, I think, in the Rathskeller. They had some fun nights in the Rathskeller. But the new Rathskeller, woo!
Nice.
If you haven't been down to that campus lately, boy, you go to that Rathskeller, I would have stayed in that thing. Boy, that thing is nice. They got the outside swinging chairs. You think about football players, we would have been sitting in them chairs, down there asleep between classes. That thing is nice. But yeah, that Rathskeller, I saw that comment. I wasn't gonna touch it, but yeah,
I'll touch it. Panhandle, you got nothing on Lamar, trust me.
I spent a little time in that Rathskeller, looking down, because they had the upstairs, downstairs, looking down. Hey, fun times.
You mentioned Mark Fletcher, and he's running downhill, and King talks about how hungry that the team looks, and playing with a chip on their shoulder, and so forth and so on. But Mark Fletcher has really started out this year well. I think he's averaging about 5.9 yards a carry, and he does get downhill very, very quickly. And obviously, he's caught your eye with the way he's running the football.
Yeah, he's running hard, man. And he is. What I do like is the way they're playing these guys. He's not out there 30, touching the ball 30 times. 15, think it was at one game, the Notre Dame game. And then, now with Lyle coming back, those guys are going to split. With that O-line and the way they playing, you're keeping those guys fresh. And Mark, let me tell you something. The way you should do it, you bring Fletcher in that fourth quarter when they're just wearing them down with that O-line, and he's running that thing hard. Safeties are making business decisions where they want to try to put their head down and tackle this guy. I mean, he is exploding through the hole right now. I wouldn't say it's night and day, because he ran the ball hard last year, but he's running with an extra little something. And to be down there and watch him run that ball, man, he is not stopping for nobody.
Yeah, and they're using him just the right amount. He had 15 carries against Notre Dame. He had 11 the other day against Bethune. That's all you want Mark Fletcher to do. Like, you don't want to go 20, 25 with him. He's been nicked up several times in his football career, and you want to keep that guy healthy and fresh. And I love the way that they're using Mark Fletcher. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Dolph and Derek wants you to talk about this year's wide receivers compared to last year's. I'm going to mention that in a few minutes we're going to be joined by Roscoe Parrish, the great former Hurricane, and he'll be joining us here in a few minutes. But when I watch Malachi Toney, okay, the first thing that comes to my mind is Roscoe Parrish. And I said, my God, this kid is just like Roscoe Parrish was. Smaller receiver, but knows how to get open and get and the thing that strikes me about Malachi Toney is that first step of his is unbelievable. And he is gone. By the time the defensive back figures out where he's going, he is gone to that open spot on the football field. And he's obviously off to a flying start. But in your mind, this year's receivers compared to last year, obviously Restrepo's out, Jacoby George is out, Sam Brown is out. Now C.J. Daniels is in, Malachi Toney is in, Joshua Moore is in. You got a whole new crew, but the production seems to be, at worst, the same so far, Lamar.
Yeah, I think that those guys are different in a way. I mean, those guys last year, they were seasoned in their own way. These guys are younger, but you added some older depth to it with CJ. Um, it, it, so far, so good. I mean, I haven't still seen that one-on-one down the field like Jacoby, but I'm sure we'll get to see something like that similar by somebody this weekend. Um, and a guy that can beat one-on-one coverage, and Malachi is doing his thing inside. And like you said, it kind of reminds me of Roscoe Parrish when he was playing the game. You got Joshua Moore. He's a big target. I talked to him after the game, and he just wants to be great, man. He wants to be great, and I keep telling him, man, you're a freshman. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay, man. You're out there as a freshman, a true freshman. Take your time, embrace the moment, just play ball, man. You're a good player. Don't get all flustered by a drop or that's okay. It's gonna happen. You're a freshman. You're okay. The bigger games are coming, and to see those guys do their thing, it's a different group, but again, I think they bring their own little spin to it when you also have a veteran quarterback. So I would love to sit in on some of those meetings and hear how, because right now they seem like they're all on the right and the same page.
So I mentioned Roscoe Parrish a minute ago and the similarities that we're seeing in the game of Malachi Tony, and Roscoe's with us now in the lobby, so I'm going to bring him on the show. And Roscoe, welcome to the Lamar Thomas Show. We were just talking about you and how I feel like I'm watching Roscoe Parrish all over again in the emergence of this young buck, Malachi Tony, a game very similar to what I remember yours being for all those years at the U. And I wonder if you had the same thoughts when you've seen the start that he's had to the season.
Wow. How you doing? Lamar, what's going on, man?
How you doing, Mr. Parrish? The playmaker?
That's it.
Hey, man. Hey, I got to tell you this, man. I enjoyed watching you play. I was a big fan of yours. Malachi Tony is out there doing it, but man, he got a long way to go before he get to what you were doing out there, man. Man, you made a lot of great catches at the University of Miami. A lot of great catches, man. You're one of those playmakers. I've always said it as a receiver coach, a little guy, okay, a little guy, and you're a small guy. You gotta be accurate to throw to a little guy, right? No, not in your case. You had a large catch radius for a little dude, and that's what you want as a quarterback. Because again, sometimes it's hard to hit that little guy across the middle, but it
Right.
didn't matter to you. I saw you made some great catches where you actually made the quarterback. Some of his errant throws look good, and that says a lot about what type of player you were when you were at the University of Miami, for sure.
Appreciate it. I appreciate that a lot. Coming from you, OG, that 3-6 was major out there when I was in high school. Coming up, you and
Hey,
Kevin Williams.
hey, we appreciate it, man. Let's talk about high school. The fact that you were able to make a decision that went into you staying at the University of Miami. Let's hear about that decision. We ask everybody that comes on our show, what was it about the University of Miami, and what was that decision process like?
Wow. Good question. But for me, I'm a Miami kid first.
I know that.
And I also grew up in Coconut Grove, which is
Hmm.
10 minutes away from
Yep.
University of Miami. Me and Frank Gore, and just being so close to a Power 5 university and
Hmm.
just it was tangible
Hmm.
for myself. Just like I also mentioned yourself, like watching the national championship games and seeing you at your celebration game and just Kevin Williams with that 5-1 and a continuation with just Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne and me and Andre Johnson went to the same high school
Hmm.
and just being around the guys and it was just so close and it felt like home,
Hmm.
respectfully.
Wow. I mean, the fact that you and Dre, same high school. Uh, how many other guys from Miami came in that year that you came in?
I love our class. I love our class. Rest in peace. Just Sean Taylor, first and
Mm-hmm.
foremost,
Mm-hmm.
his athleticism, like offensive, defense, special teams. He was just a highlight of our class, just being who what he represented.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had guys like Intrero, Frank
Mm-hmm.
Gore, Marcus Maxey, and Kelly Winslow, Kelly Jennings, myself. You also had Orion Harris, Javon Nat, and the list go on and on. Leon Williams, Mashintosh, the linebacker. And we had like 24 recruiters that year, players, and we were close. It was a brotherhood for us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that would just make football just in a whole and just make us all prosper. Just the competitiveness of it and the nature of everything.
When you got to the University of Miami, because we all have it. It was that moment where you said, "Damn, uh,
Yeah.
uh, damn, am I good enough?" You had that moment, and what was that moment for you where you said, "Damn, am I good enough?" And then there was that moment where you said, "Oh yeah, I belong."
Ooh, yeah. The competitiveness.
Yeah. So,
When you get to a point, if you get hurt, it's your fault because the next man up is just as
ooh,
bad to hurt. That's
ooh,
pressure right there.
yeah.
That's where you don't want to go to the training room.
So don't suck it up.
But respectfully, it's just the respect we had for one another, and we always out there for one common goal is win a national championship, which I was fortunate to experience,
Mm-hmm.
and just being around the guys and just knowing what we stand for, the tradition, and I feel like right now for Mario Cristobal just to be around it, and it was tangible with him as well. He was the tight end coach
Mm-hmm.
at the time when I was there, and he actually and he was there before me as well, but just diving in my present time when I was there at the moment, he was the tight end coach, and
Mm-hmm.
he understand the tradition.
Mm-hmm.
And for me myself, just to be a part of it, and today still operating in the brotherhood when we see one another, it's a great experience, and just to have a national championship ring on top of that as well.
That's always a positive.
That's a major key.
So you win a national championship, and you go to you drafted by Buffalo,
hmm
and that's an organization. There's a lot of great tradition up there, and it's just like I felt when I got to the league. I'm not saying anything bad about Tampa. When you get to the league, it's a different type of brotherhood. You're dealing with grown men with grown man problems. And
hmm
they got family, they got kids bigger than you, older than you. You're like, damn man, how many years you been in the league? So
hmm
what was that like to make that transition? Because I've always said when you
Right,
go from
right.
high school to college, you notice how fast the game is. And when you go to college to the pros, you notice how fast the game is. What was that transition like for you?
Wow, wow. For me, I met Eric Mose.
Mm-hmm.
I was in elementary school just to get drafted to Buffalo Bills, and he still had that motive to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned so much from him in a small matter of a time, and just encountering Andre Johnson, Curtis Johnson, all the
Mm-hmm.
information I was soaking up. And Curtis Johnson, my receiver coach at the
Mm-hmm.
University of
One
Miami.
of the best to
Uh,
do it too. One of the
you
best to
feel
do it.
me? Yes, 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 yes. And Andre Johnson being he my goat of all time, respectfully. And leaving University of Miami with just at that time we just had so many guys at their position being the best
Mm-hmm.
and translating over competitively to the NFL and meeting Eric Moe, and it was like, oh yeah, he athletic, he the one. You know, it's for me that was an honor because I was in elementary school watching him at that time. So for me, the speed of game coming from University of Miami when we was rolling, I won't say it was. I gotta respect the NFL because that was our dream, but we was rolling, and that same beat. But it was the personnel of like Aaron Moles. That's Aaron Moles right there for me, going to Buffalo Bills at the time, and it was just it was living a kid living a dream, coming from Coconut Grove and just living my dream.
You know, you talk about the speed too. The practices in that team were similar or even harsher than the next level.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it was almost like you get to the league, you're like, dang, y'all don't practice as hard as we practiced in college because it was like competitive. It was like you said, next man up. You know,
Yes.
it was that thing where you had to come every day to get better, and
Mhm.
you better because that guy behind you is chomping at the bit. You know, so
Mhm.
to go to the league, I felt even in Tampa, I was like, man, this is kind of easy. This ain't the same as UM, you know. So
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, man. I truly do.
So, just having said that, disrespectfully, just one on ones was something I was looking forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Just being like they call us receivers, they call us divas,
Yeah.
So so for myself, it was one on ones. Like it gave us as receivers to show our skill set when we
Right.
running routes.
Yes.
So the transition for me was more so just one on ones and seeing the speed of the game based on who defended me.
Mm, I get it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that. There's a lot to say to be said for that. I mean, it's when you play on a team like in a program like the University of Miami, the way we had it rolling back then, it's again when you get to that next level.
Yeah.
Not taking anything away from it. It's just that you kind of look at things and you say, again, man, college was so much harder. You know, and you're getting paid. You know, it's not like today when they getting paid to play in college, and you'd have had your own NIL deal. We all would have had some type of NIL deal, and we'd have made money. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
truly the love of competition.
Yeah.
It was truly the love of brotherhood. The fact that you remember the majority of the guys in your class says a lot for itself because that means you guys are still close in some way.
It was an impact. It was very impactful for us. Just you have to remember, like 2001 was when we played the Florida Gators,
Mm-hmm.
and and we should have been in national championship that Washington game,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was part of that recruiting class coming up, and happened that it's like okay, we got to win it, and for us, we was coming in on a number one team, number two, number three at the time. So we had to be impactful and had that state of mind when we had leaders like Ed Reed
Mm-hmm.
leading the pack. And it's like, don't let the next man down type mentality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the era which, Mario Cristobal, he aware of, and everything gonna be okay in the sense of, the U back, we can say that respectfully every year, and that's how it's gonna be.
Mm. Well, go ahead, Gary.
I was just going to ask you, and I alluded to this at the beginning, but I think it's just so topical right now. You talk about Andre Johnson, receivers like Michael Irvin, Lamar, and some of the bigger bodied receivers that have come through the program. You performed at a similar type level out there without having those natural advantages of the bigger receivers with the big, huge catch radiuses and stuff. And now we're seeing a second generation guy in Malachi Tony, who clearly, I mean, he's a true freshman.
Yeah.
You look at his first 2 games, you could see what kind of career he's going to have at Miami. Probably is going to break Restrepo's records. I'm guessing that the way this is going. But he seems to have it down the way you did. And what's the key to succeeding as a receiver that isn't a so-called big receiver?
Wow. What Tony, right? He's starting off good, right? Notre Dame, week 1.
Yeah. As a freshman.
And what I took from his game, honestly, he quick in small spaces.
Mm-hmm.
That's a major key, and he also have another opportunity to catch a punt as a receiver. Reminds him more of Santana Moss, Kevin Williams, and just myself included. When you have more opportunity to touch the ball, it builds your confidence up, and it also builds your creativity up in small spaces. You do things that, momentum. And for him to be a freshman and starting off like this so early in the game,
I know what I was doing as a freshman. I had a red shirt on. Red shirt.
Yeah. I was on scout team playing Ed Crouch, Nebraska, doing the option.
Shit, I was Tony Rice. One weekend.
People don't realize how amazing what this kid is doing. It is. I mean, you're so right.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just walk out on the football field, the first game of your life in college, and be the go-to guy that the coordinator is drawing plays up for.
Yeah. And he's very humble, and he conducted himself very well. And for him to get so much play early says a lot about his talent. And I also heard that he reclassified early or something. I don't know. And for me to hear all this, it just it's our time. We can start throwing up our U's now,
Yeah, he should be a senior in high school right now. Absolutely should be a senior in high school.
Because it's like all the skill positions is in our backyard.
Yeah.
It's a Miami kid.
He's strong. He's and the thing that I'm enjoying hearing is how much he studies the game, how much he's into the game, how much he's, as a freshman, one of the last ones to leave the building. As a freshman, you really don't I can look back on my time as a freshman, and you probably can too. You don't know what's really going on. You kind of leaving when everybody else leaving.
Yeah.
But you stand back and you're asking the quarterback questions, and you're getting a one-on-one with the quarterback, the starting quarterback, who has a lot of experience.
Yes.
That says a lot, man. That says a lot.
I agree.
It says a lot. So Roscoe, man, what last week we were supposed to have it on the show last week, but you had something big. How did last week go? How did it go last week?
Last week went well. Check you out. Last week was a nice, everyday slow motion, but in motion, Just enjoyed time with my wife, and we had a few events that we had to attend to, but everything went well on that standpoint, and then it was a victory week. We beat Notre Dame that week as well too, don't forget about that,
No, I ain't gonna forget about that. No, the fact you had a great time with your wife, and that's what life is about. A lot of people are asking, what are you, I'm looking at some of the comments, they want to know what you're doing. I know he was celebrating with his wife last week.
Check you out, and I got a few little calls here and there, but what we talking about?
Yeah, man. Well, hey, man, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show. It's always great to see you. And I tell you this too, somebody came up to me and asked me about Roscoe Parrish being in the Hall of Fame at the University of Miami. I looked at him like, ain't he already in the Hall of Fame? Because he's one of the greatest players to ever play at the University of Miami. He said, no. I said, well, shit, he need to be in that thing. And I think everybody agrees to that hell, you should have been in a while ago. So let's get Roscoe Parrish into the Hall of Fame. I'm telling it right now on our show. Roscoe Parrish deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And if you going in the Hall of Fame, I'm gonna come and watch. I'm gonna come and sit in the audience. I don't go back to a lot of that shit, but I'll come and sit and watch.
Check you out.
I got my ring. It took too damn long for me to get it, but I will come back and I would definitely sit in there when you get your ring and be clapping because you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. You one of the greatest players. You know, you won the GOATs. You won the GOATs from the University of Miami and from the hometown. You from here, and that means a lot to the people in South Florida. So, man, we definitely appreciate you coming on the show, man. Can't wait to see you again, and thank you so much for gracing us with your presence on the show.
Appreciate it, man. Take care. Thanks for having me.
Really. Great seeing you, Roscoe. Thank you,
Roscoe.
The great Roscoe Parrish.
Man was a bad man, boy.
He was. I didn't have the heart to ask him, but when I think back, Roscoe Parrish, of course, he did so many great things. But that one Florida State game when he was coming across the middle, and somebody laid him out to dry. I can't remember who was throwing the ball at that particular moment, but he got annihilated.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Annihilated, and I was just curious if you remembered what that felt like. I mean,
I can tell you this as a receiver, and Michael Irvin was alluding to this on his many podcasts that he's on. He was talking about running the slant back when we had all these big safeties and these Hall of Fame safeties, and I thought back to it myself, and I just used to tell myself going across the middle, this is your job. This is what you're here for, not really the leaping touchdown. This is what you get respect from your teammates. You get respect from your coaches. You get respect from the other team. When you go across that middle and you take that hit, it's all part of the game. And if you shy away from it, then you don't. That's not being a receiver for me. You're gonna get hit, and you get your opportunity on run plays and knock the shit out of defensive backs. Take advantage of it. But
Roscoe was tough, man. He was a tough kid.
Tough player. Hey, Gary, I want to give a shout out to my guys in the equipment room, the EQ room down at the University of Miami. You know what I'm saying? Brian Gossett, the Goose, Ryan, and Dakota. Them the guys that they take care of you, boy. When I go down there, I got so much stuff, man. They hook me up. I appreciate the love. For any of the alumni guys, man, they make sure the alumni guys are taken care of it. Right, and I tell you, Mario's done an outstanding job with that. So when we walk in, Goose and those guys, Dakota and Ryan, they show us love, man. That's what it's about. We worked hard. We didn't get the NIL money, but we come back to the campus and they show us love and they give us some of the gear that they have, and we appreciate that.
All right, that's a nice shout out. But not all of us are privileged like you, Lamar. Some of us got to buy our damn clothes. And if we have to go buy our clothes, you know where we're going to buy them. And that is CaneSwear. Okay, so let's take a moment and hear from our friends at Canes.
Welcome to CaneSwear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, CaneSwear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. CaneSwear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Yeah, that's our damn equipment room.
That's the other equipment room.
Here,
let me show you some of the things.
Let me go. Wait, I'm going to put you on a wide shot here, so
like
everybody
the home
can see.
shopping network around here. Look at this. Look at these shoes right here. This is the new.
Wow.
This is a new shoe. Look at the canes on the back. You see that? That's sweet.
Wow.
That is real sweet. They got them in here. These are now the players wear these shoes too because I got mine from the equipment room. So I'm telling you, this is equipment room. This is official gear right here. Official. Come on, get some. Look at these things right here. Woo wee. Look at that. Ooh, sweet.
How do you wear those? Who the heck wants to wear out the ibis on the bottom of the?
That thing's sweet. And look, and by the way, now this is something I got to say. They got the Jason Taylor shirts up in here. And when I say the Jason Taylor, I see all the coaches wearing the Jason Taylor shirt. It's the hoodie with the sleeves. It's the Jason Taylor. That's the Jason. Now all y'all that love Jason Taylor, come on in here. They got him in green and black.
Don't you have to have Jason Taylor muscles to wear that?
Well, no, you just fake it. You fake it. I fake it a lot. I fake it. And look at this shirt right here. I like this shirt right here. Okay, where did I put it? Look at that. Yeah, look at that. That's nice right there. Look at all them rings. And this is, of course, this is Dale Dawkins shirt now, because he bought it first. This is nice right here. This is nice. This like you smoke a cigar with this on. Smoke a cigar. And of course, they got socks in this thing. Look at all these socks. They got all kind of, man, they got so many socks. You can buy a whole thing. Man, they got so much stuff in here. Socks, keychains, slides, flags, stickers, helmets. Everything is here. This is your one-stop shop. And I'm not just talking about the Canes now. They got it for everything. They got the Heat. They say soccer. They got baseball.
Panthers. They're big with the Panthers.
They're big with the Panthers now. You can get a puck up in here. I know there's a puck up in here somewhere. They got everything. This is the one-stop shop in South Florida. If you want to come get your sports gear, it's right here in Canesville. I see some Dolphin stuff. I saved them for last because they didn't have a good showing last week. So.
Woof. Yeah, we don't know. That was bad. That was bad.
I don't even want to talk about that, Gary.
Wow. So this is our equipment room, and they have everything that the Canes fan could possibly need at Canes, where you see the store behind me tonight as well. They're at 2655 South University Drive in Davie. That's about 15 minutes north of Hard Rock Stadium. So great place to stop on your way to the game. I mean, we got 8 home games this year, so 8 opportunities to get on over to Caneswear and load yourself up on Canes gear. And if you can't make it to the store itself, you could shop 24 hours a day.
24 hours.
Caneswear.com. Yeah. So 2655 South University Drive in Davie. Caneswear.com. Caneswear is your ultimate destination. Those are the nicest Canes sneakers I think I've ever seen.
Hey man, I could use this as a ball marker.
Those are Adidas. Those are Adidas, right?
Adidas, yeah. Adidas.
I mean, that is beautiful. That is beautiful, man. Wow, they got the 3-stripe look, and I mean, somebody outdid themselves with that one. How much are those, Lamar? What's the price tag on those?
What's the price tag on Ken? $160. $160.
Yeah, those are nice.
If you tell them LT sent you $159.
That's awesome. All right, so let's get back to business here. So many things that we can touch on. We haven't talked about the defense at all. Mm-hmm. Obviously Bethune-Cookman wasn't going anywhere on them. But when the second team went in, Lamar, it wasn't as pretty. Like that bothered me a little bit. Like Bethune was actually able to hit some plays on the second team defense, and I came into this season of the opinion that the middle of this roster was better than it's been in a long time, and I'm not going to let a couple plays against Bethune, knock me away from that opinion, but. I was a little bit surprised at the fact that they were able to hit a few plays against our second teamers, and hopefully that's just those guys just weren't as ready to play maybe as they should have been.
Yeah, I think it was a couple breakdowns in there, a couple people in the wrong spots and wrong position, but I think overall, you take those plays out of it, I think it was a decent showing. But I would have loved to seen them play more, and so they can get their feet wet, because we're going to need the depth. You think about last year, we lost Ruben Bain on the second play. I mean, so you got to see what these other guys can do. Our D line is man, they're killing it right now. Our D line grade is 3rd in the nation. Our run defense grade is 2nd in the nation. Our pass rush grade is 7th in the nation. And Byron Brown, he's going to be in trouble. I really believe. Now, Notre Dame their quarterback ran the ball a couple of times, and even Bethune had a run but that was on the second group. But I think knowing that Byron Brown is not as accurate, they're going to put more emphasis on making sure that he can't, I would say 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. We should know it's going to be a quarterback draw in some type of way, right? And make him make throws. Hey, he was able to make a throw down the field against Florida, but that was all predicated on the fact that they went hurry up. And again, I don't know if I said this yet, but their USF loves to try to tempo you to death. They want to run as many plays as they can. And if they have success on first down, look for them on second down to try to get you out of sorts. And that's what they were able to do against Florida on that long pass where he actually threw it in between two defenders and the guy made a great catch and was able to score. But if they're able to have success on first down, look for them to run a lot of plays as far as tempo to try to make you either call your base defense or, obviously when you have a good defense that knows how to communicate, call a certain play on defense or certain structure of your defense that you already have for that formation. And that's what going fast does. It makes people go base, or they have to really call something that they've studied. And they were able to get Florida on that. But I think for the most part, our D-line has played well. I'm really impressed also with the back end, our secondary. A lot improved since last year, tackling-wise and coverage-wise. I just don't think that last year those guys would make the tackles this year that they might have had to make against Notre Dame. And, this year I think the guys are I feel a lot more comfortable with our secondary this year. Obviously the linebackers, Vasant getting kicked out of the game, I was just happy that it was in the first half. If you're going to get kicked out in the first half so you can come back next week.
So he can come back. Yeah, come back Saturday. So Dolphin Derek, he's talking about Ruben Bain, who's going to give USF hell this weekend. I think there's some accuracy to that. I wanted to get your opinion on something, man. It's like Ruben Bain to me is like evolving into more of an old school Cane every minute.
Yes, every minute.
He had apparently now, like I hope that this is the way it was presented. And I'm assuming that it was accurate, but if it's not, I apologize, but I think it is. This was on the internet as a picture of Ruben Bain's notebook the week of the Notre Dame game. And, I love it. I mean, it's best that it didn't get revealed till after the game. But Lamar, this is the kind of stuff that we would have seen back in your day.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, I had stuff on there about every player, stuff that I could use against them in the game, their mama's names, their sisters' names, and all kind of stuff, their brothers' names, what high school they went to. I just had little notes that I would take on each player. But I love the fact that if that is really what he had in this notebook, that's telling me that I knew he would have a good game. And he did have a good game against Notre Dame. That means he was single-minded against Notre Dame. And, I see Dolphin Derek saying Bain and Mesidor, man, they look good. That whole pass rush where you have Mesidor, Bain, Lightfoot, and there's one more. Who else comes in? There's one more guy that comes in. That speed on third down. I can't think of his name. God dang it. But that whole little group they have come in on the third down, that's incredible to watch.
Armando Blunt was coming in.
Blunt, yeah. That's who it is, Blunt. To watch those four, it's like ears are back. They are coming to get your quarterback. And Byron Brown, he's going to be running for his life. Now, he's a big old dude, but I think our guys will be prepared. You think about JT and those guys on that D-line. I think they're going to be prepared. I think we know that's the only thing they really have, their quarterback right now. I mean, he's going to, on 3rd and 5, I think we're going to get a heavy dose of quarterback draw. That's what they got.
Dolphin Derek wants to see, I guess that's a hamburger Saturday. I'm assuming he's talking about a meeting at the quarterback.
Yeah, a meeting at the quarterback. I take it. There will be some meetings at the quarterback. And poor Brian Brown, boy, they're going to get after him, man. Mesidor looks so good, man. He looks like an entirely different person on the sideline. I mean, he just looks physically fit, and to have those four guys rushing that passer all at one time, oof, that's going to be interesting to watch.
All right, so South Florida beats the Gators on Saturday. How much does that help Miami prepare for this game? I mean, hopefully they would be preparing as hard as you could prepare anyway, but that game had to at least get somebody's attention over there at the Schwartz Center and, maybe inspire them a little bit more for Saturday?
I think that knowing Mario, they already were taking the game serious because it's a lot of implications in this game. Before they were, last year they played us tough the first half. I say the first half and all the way up to about 2 minutes in the second quarter. 2 minutes left in the second quarter, we got that touchdown. But and then the second half, we came out and did what we were supposed to do. But I think even before that, Mario knows how important this game is because it's building towards Florida. And then now to have Florida lose the game to South Florida, it puts a lot more emphasis on it. And I'm hoping that our fans understand that because, I think the team and the people in that building might understand that, but our fans need to understand that we need for everybody to come out and support and be there at the game so we can have that type of Notre Dame type environment. Even if we ain't on national TV, if we're on CW, it don't matter. It don't matter if we were on PBS, still come out and show support because, I'm sure South Florida right now, being up there and listening to them talk noise before the game last year, those same people are waiting to come down to South Florida, and they're hoping and praying that they're able to pull off what they would think was the biggest win in the school history. But I don't see that happening. I see if when they lose, they'll still be ranked in the top 20 for what they've done so far, top 25. What they've done has been remarkable. They were able to beat a Boise State team and a University of Florida team, University of Florida at home. I think they found something. They found something. Their coach, I saw him on an interview. He's talking about how he loves to come to work every day. He loves the people that are there. I think the kids have bought into it. I look back into to see how many transfers they have. They have 33 seniors, Gary. And I think I counted like 22 transfers. So they built a team here. This is their best opportunity, but I don't think it's going to be enough because I think the University of Miami is going to come out and do what they're supposed to do, and I think the game is going to come down to our D line against their O line and our offensive line against their D line. Just my opinion.
I like Miami's chances if that's the case.
Yes.
So let me ask you a question. You mentioned that the game's being televised by the CW network. Okay.
I don't even know what the hell that is, man.
Lamar, are they going too far with this? Looking for every angle to make. I don't know what CW is paying for. I assume it's a game of the week or something. I admit I'm not up on that business relationship. I'm assuming it's probably with the ACC.
Yeah.
But like. Is this thing guy? I mean, they need money. I mean, listen, the rosters are costing 30-40 million now. I mean, they need to make money every chance they get. But is putting the game on the CW network maybe taking it a little too far?
I'm just happy I get to go to the game because I would be pissed off if I had to try to find the damn CW channel. I don't even know where that is. Dude, I'm a Hulu guy, so I don't even know if that shit's on Hulu. But I would be pissed off if I was down here and didn't know where. I ain't even heard of CW. What can somebody tell me what shows on CW? Somebody said Chris Brown said it's free TV. Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy, but
I give it to them. Now they did have one of the best games of the week last week on Baylor and SMU. So, I don't know if this one's going to live up to that billing, but it is a top 20 matchup. But that was a good game. I think that was on CW.
That was a heck of a game.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story. You know, we got a sports handicapper by the name of Lee Sterling that does a show with us every week. You bet CaneSport. And so I was talking to Lee, and he was telling me, you know, that was he weights his picks, and he gave that one a 40-point pick, which is like huge, you know, in his scale. You know, like 40-unit pick. Like I love I love Baylor over SMU. I mean, it's a lock. It's almost a lock. You know, it was how strongly he loved this pick. So yeah, I threw a couple on it. I'm not gonna lie. And then I'm looking for the damn game, and like you said, I couldn't find the game anywhere, Lamar. You're telling me now it was on CW, okay?
CW, man.
Like, I don't know, man. But finally, I'm like searching all over the place. I finally found a radio broadcast, and I picked this thing up. It was the fourth quarter, and you know, I'd been seeing the score, and SMU was losing. I mean, Baylor, who was the lock of the day on Saturday, was losing the entire game, and they finally tied it up at the end of the game, and then they won the damn thing in overtime. And you know, I was obviously euphoric, and I know Lee Sterling was even more euphoric since he gave it out to his clients. But it says a little funny story about CW Network that I couldn't find. So I hope you guys that are going to be watching the game on Saturday
come to the game. Come to the game. How about
that's if you live locally, definitely come to the game. If you live out of town, come to the game. But if you can't make it to the game, give yourself a head start finding the CW network. It may not be as easy as it's supposed to be. So you know, that's my word of advice going into this one. All right. So USF has gotten where they are, Lamar. They're +4 in turnovers.
Yes.
Okay. Taking care of the football is a really important part of this game on Saturday.
Yeah, for them, I mean, their offense has been Byron Brown. You know, just their offensive line in the run game is probably last in the nation, I think, as far as with running backs. You know, when he's running the ball, it changes the whole complexity of what they're able to do. And he hasn't really thrown the ball that much. They've done a good job of having him run the ball. And when he does throw it, sometimes he's inaccurate. So, and they've been very fortunate because he has been inaccurate. Nobody's been able to catch it. So it's going to be interesting to see once he gets tagged a couple times to see how this thing goes because, you know, he is such a prolific runner with the football. He's going to have to add some, you know, I think that our guys in the secondary should be able to handle, and we'll see, should be able to handle USF's wide receivers. We'll see what happens there. I know last year they had some really good receivers. This year, it's yet to be seen. So,
a little subplot. There's a guy named Todd Orlando. He's the defense coordinator for South Florida. When Mario, must be 2015? I'm trying to think how many years it would be. Like 12, probably about 16 years ago or something. That Mario was the head coach at FIU. Todd Orlando was his defensive coordinator, and he was a young up and coming coach back then. And I'm kind of surprised that he and Mario haven't reunited at any point along the way. Is, you know, especially when it's a couple of these defense coordinators that, you know, worked under Mario here lately, didn't quite get the job done. He seems to have found a really good one now.
Well, hold on, Gary. Hold on, Gary. Now I got to tell you, I'm surprised he still got a job because hell, he was giving up 403. Todd Orlando, 436 yards. He was 113th 2 years ago. Last year, they were giving up 436 yards, 0.9, and they were 96 in total defense. So that's why Mario ain't rung his phone up. Shit, we might well stay with the other dude. You know what I mean? So you know, luckily he was able to play against a Boise State team without the running back from last year, a Florida team with Lagway with those weapons, but not being able to use them. I still think there's something going on with Lagway that the Florida fans don't want to really address, but they got to see a lot of it last year that, hey, something's going on. Either between the coach calling plays, somebody got a spitting problem, or just the fact that you just fucked up in Gainesville. I don't know. But something going on up there with Lagway, and I hope it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I hope it continues, especially when you go there. I hope the LSU beat the hell out of them, so they can come limping their ass in here, and we beat the hell out of them, send them back to Canesville. That's what I'm hoping. That's just my opinion.
Well, back when Mario sort of gave him life back at FIU, he was considered a pretty good defensive coordinator, up and coming, and he has survived in the game all these years. So he can't be all that bad. I don't know what his personnel was like at South Florida, but he'll give them a lot of looks, Lamar. He will give them a lot of looks on Saturday, and it's going to probably turn into a cerebral football game for Carson Beck. And I like Carson Beck in a situation like that. Kid is smart as hell. He studied a lot of football. He will be ready for anything that Todd Orlando throws out there.
I mean, hell, he should be in his third year in the NFL right now, right?
Yeah. All right, so it all comes together Saturday, 4:30. They haven't asked you to spin the Hurricane siren yet?
No, man.
I saw Smitty cranking that thing the other day.
Smitty got to crank it up.
I gotta tell him, you gotta get Lamar out there, man. Like, I remember the one time you did something similar to Miami Dolphin game. You were electric, man.
Yeah,
you were
that was the what was that? Fins up or whatever it was, something. Let's go Fins, something like that.
Hopefully, it was when the team was a little bit better than what they looked the other day. Woof. That was an embarrassment, but you did a hell of a job riling up the crowd in that moment. I think you'd be great to crank that siren off. Talk to the marketing department a little bit and say, "Hey, man, show a little love for my man Lamar."
Hey, man, I'm just happy to go to games and be a fan. It is what it is. If some other guys they want to do that thing, they can do it, man. I'm just you want to make me feel good? Get me to that damn hockey game. That's what I'm talking about. Let me beat that drum at that damn.
You want to beat that drum?
Let me beat that drum. That's really something right there now.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to replicate here with the siren.
That means you're a South Florida icon right there. That's what that means. You beat that drum, boy.
Yeah. I think they're trying to replicate that with the siren. I don't know if it's been as effective. They got to get that thing out in the middle of the field, in my opinion. It's kind of hidden over there in the corner. Right? Yeah.
Everybody looking. Where's it doing?
Everyone's like, "What's this kind of?" You got to watch the TV. All right, so as it all comes together Saturday, what's your take? What are you looking to see Saturday from the Hurricanes?
Again, I'm looking to see that our O-line and D-line dominate this game. That's what I'm hoping, because I think our O-line against their D-line, it should be, they're not as big. I mean, maybe 250, maybe they might have 300 pounds. They're not putting pressure on the quarterbacks. We should be able to run the football, and if they're able to stack the box, they're going to pay both ways. You got Mark Fletcher coming downhill, putting that thing on safeties. They're going to think twice. They're going to have to make business decisions. And on the outside, you mess around with Malachi Tony and number 7, and all these guys that are coming that now are full strength, even Josh Moore getting his opportunity, I think we'll be able to beat one-on-one coverage. And, with a smart quarterback back there like we have, who you're not putting a lot of pressure, that's going to force them to, I think, try to blitz, send more people. And when you do that, now you're leaving some holes out there in one-on-one coverage. But if you want to sit back, you want to play a zone, we're going to go, 15 or 15 again, because he's going to pick it apart. I think they've done a great job of calling plays this year. A different quarterback, but different style, but it's been effective so far. And on the defensive side, I think our D-line should be able to get to the quarterback often. And if he does have any errant throws, I think that our defensive backs are better than they have been in years past, and they'll be able to make some plays on those errant throws, because he's going to be running for his life. In a perfect world, I would love to see him running for his life, and him trying to dodge Bain and trying to spin, and number 31 catches him up under the chin. Oh, yeah, and then we'll see what the backup quarterback look like. But that's in the perfect world, though. I do think that our defensive line will be the key to this game. If they're able to get to Byron Brown often, it'll do good for us. We don't want them to have success on first down. We don't want them to run as many plays. And if you can stop them and make them have to call trick plays, then you got it.
A hidden factor in this game, and I'm looking forward here. I want to pull it up to talk about it a little bit, but a hidden element in this game is the success that Coach Heatherman has had in stopping quarterbacks that run. And his defense last year at Minnesota, they, just to give you an idea, they played UNC. Max Johnson had 10 yards rushing. They played Rhode Island. Devin Farrell had 9 yards rushing. Goes on and on. Nevada, Brendan Lewis, a quarterback that had 775 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns on the season, only gained -1 yard against Corey Heatherman's defense. Okay, and it goes on and on. There's no quarterback the entire season that had more than 31 rushing yards against Corey Heatherman's defense in Minnesota last year. He's going to be ready for Brown.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of doubt on my mind on that, and because of that, I am personally expecting a big Miami victory on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think watching Damon Lewis on the sideline, him being back is personal for him. He wants to see his guys do well, and so him and JT with that D line, and you don't see as many busts as we saw last year. And I'm not taking anything away from what was going on last year. It's just that, guys losing contain. That's the main thing. That's one of the things that has bugged me out for years about watching our guys play the D-line, them losing contain. Like that means you're selfish. You got to do your job, force them back inside. I think these guys are trusting each other now and saying, okay, I know my job is to stay upfield. I'm going to force him back to Mesidor or somebody else. And I like that because they're staying within their game plan. And that's so many years I've been so frustrated watching a guy get outside the pocket and complete a pass downfield, i.e. Georgia Tech. You got outside the pocket and completes the ball downfield to win the game. You got to keep him in the pocket, man. You got to, and that's being disciplined. And I think Damon and JT and Heatherman, they've done a good job on that. So far, so good.
So far, so good. Who's your cameraman tonight? You got this. You're like zooming in and out, and like what?
Hey man,
who's working camera for you tonight?
That's that new iPad, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's that new iPad, baby.
What is it run by AI or something? I mean,
I don't know. You move, it moves. You move, I move, just like that. When you move, I move, just like that. I don't know what the hell going on. I'm seeing it zooming in. I'm kind of liking it too.
You seeing it? Like, yeah, you got like special effects going on there. I'm impressed.
It's that new iPad, man.
All right, let's play a little word association here and take it home. Let's start with the Hard Rock Stadium crowd.
And we need you to come out, baby. Come on. Hey, if you're watching the show, get your friend, call your friend, say, man, you going to that game on Saturday? No, don't tell them. Don't ask them. Say, you going to the game on Saturday. We need everybody to come out, man. We should have a packed stadium. We should not have USF fans with half and half. They don't deserve it. They need to make the drive all the way on 75 and get here and find out there's no damn tickets. How about that? Now, if you're going to sell it for 3 times that value, I get it. Make that money. But we need to come out and show up and have that type of environment just like it was Notre Dame. This is the one thing I loved about the Orange Bowl, man. Our fans, man, they were rocking. We had people that would come in there and they say, man, y'all fans crazy, man. They're crazy. Be crazy on Saturday. Have a good time. Don't get arrested, though. Don't say, I don't know. No. Dude, stay within. They got cameras up in that bitch now. So just come on out. We need you.
All right, I'm gonna give you a little combo one here.
All right.
Let's do Francis Manoa / offensive line.
Got to play a good game. Got to play a great game against a smaller defensive line. I know Kevin Patrick wants to do a good job with his D line. He's a UM guy, but you got a smaller line over there. 4.25. I think either 3.35 or 4.25. But either way, they're smaller guys. And I think maybe 300 pounder. How many 300 pounders do we have on our offensive line? We got a couple of them, right? Yeah, I think so.
Probably 4 of the
Yeah,
5.
yeah. So I mean, we should be. We've been doing a great job running the football. We played against a D line at Notre Dame that was supposed to be pretty good, and we manhandled them. So this should be another manhandle type of deal. So now we can play action, pass that thing, and get some plays downfield. They want to stack that box. They got to come because you got to come. You got to prepare to tackle our running backs. They're different guys, and especially Fletcher. But Lau getting back, man, that's going to be special to watch. And because of our O-line, we'll be able to see our receivers do something well.
Yeah, I want to see Jordan Lyle get
Yeah.
going here, man. This kid's got so much ability. We haven't seen any of it yet so far this year. I mean, let's go, man. Him and Trader.
Yep.
Like, come on, man. Let's get them out there and start seeing something. All right, how about Reuben Bain, Lamar?
Man, everybody talks about a top 10 pick. I mean, so far he has shown what, with the other guys. And I can't take anything away from those other guys, but he has shown he is a different guy this year. And I've always questioned whether he should be a 3 technique or defensive end. And I think he's shown that hell he can play it now. I mean, this is where I look. I mean, he can play it. I mean, he's doing some great things this year. This will be a great game for him to show what he can do against a running quarterback because, in the NFL now, they have running quarterbacks now. So we'll see if he's able to, if his game will be able to translate to maybe what the NFL does.
Yeah, I've been the same way. I look at him and I see, a Warren Sapp, Oliver, kind of defensive tackle, that just is, unstoppable on the interior going against some of those slower guys. But that's not where his heart is.
No.
Well, his heart is being on the outside.
Well, the fact is, too, I watched him. He does have some moves. I was like, man, you can't get away with the bull rush all the time. But he has
Jason Taylor.
I think Jason and Damon Lewis have gone to work on this kid, and he has all kind of moves in that repertoire now. And that's only going to help him down the line. And it's been fun to watch. It's been very fun to watch. So if you slide that line to him, you got to worry about them other 3 coming too. So it's been beautiful to watch so far.
Yeah, Messidor is thriving on the other side.
He looks good, man.
He looks really
good.
good.
Lightfoot, Blunt gonna have a big game this game. I think Blunt's gonna have a game. I'm thinking Blunt's gonna do something.
Yeah, he's been coming hard in practice.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Byron Brown.
He is pretty much USF's offense. He's a guy that can run the football. Not as accurate as you want for them, but he is their signal caller, their playmaker, and it's up to us to try to stop him. He loves to run the football, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Everybody knows he's coming downhill, so they're gonna have to figure something else out because we're gonna stop that. We're not gonna allow that to happen. I mean, everybody in the stadium is gonna know it's coming. They're gonna have to do something else, and I want him to throw. Make him throw the football, and because we need to see if he can throw the ball. So we'll see what happens. I hope he's. I'm thinking maybe like 5 for 18, 2 interceptions, 5 for 18, 2 interceptions. That's what I need.
I think everybody will take that for sure.
I'll take that.
And let's cap it off with Mario Cristobal.
All right, Mario. These are the games that you said you wanted to come to Miami to coach. This is a big game. This is a game to cement your legacy here at the University of Miami. This is a game you have to win. There's no doubt about it. Because we looked at this game when you're looking at the schedule, South Florida builds up to Florida. Well, guess what? It didn't happen that way. So we got to take both of these games and win both of these games. So I'm sure that he has made all the changes and everything he needs to make sure that everybody's on focus for this. And we'll see what it's all about come Saturday. This is a big game for Mario. It's a big game for the program.
Yeah. Got to keep it going, man. This could be a special season. That's getting pretty obvious here. So keep building, keep, build right now up, obviously to the Florida and Florida State games.
Yep.
So. All right, LT. Well, another good week of the Lamar Thomas Show. We got to thank CaneSport for hosting you, La Spada for feeding you.
Sub Sam, I got a sub sandwich in here too.
I'll go to one more. We'll go to one more quick wide shot of you inside the store there at CaneSport. I got to have at least one of those subs a week.
Man, you come. Hey, when you come, if you guys coming tomorrow, you come in here, get some good stuff. And then you go on over to the Spotters and go get some of that the good subs over there. And, this is the fire. Anything you need is in this store. Come on in here. They got
That's a pretty good coup, though. If you're going to have a store, having it next to La Spada where so many people go to get subs, I mean, that's a pretty good thing.
Marriage made in heaven.
Yes, sir. All right, LT, well, we'll see you at the stadium on Saturday, another big day for the Hurricanes, and we'll be back next Wednesday night to chop it up here on the Lamar Thomas Show. We thank everybody for watching, and we will see you next time. Have a great night, everybody.